Okay. Next up, of course, we've got some visitors. Kind of want to chit chat about that. OU Mike, thank you for the $10. We appreciate the support. Definitely make sure you go over to Heartland College Sports and show some love to Brian and them over there, as well as OU Insider.
Yes, sir.
We really appreciate the support. Tanya, thank you for the virtual high five. Boom, right back at you on that. All right. We got Lance Hurd as well as Terrence Ferguson are the two that I know are in town. Now, I'm not sure if based upon what the mods I've been seeing, especially the Tennessee guys, they've been talking about it like crazy. Feels like Tennessee is dooming right now. Supposedly it's between us and them. The fans are not feeling very good right now because I know that Hurd was at Tennessee for like 6 hours and he bounced. So it could mean one or two things, in my personal opinion. Brian, I'm going to throw this at you next and kind of give your thoughts. Is one, this is a bag situation. He went to Tennessee, see what the bag is. The bag didn't sound right for him, so he bounced out and was like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and keep my flight and roll. Or two, he's looking for an opportunity to start immediately. And Tennessee needs someone. They actually need a starting left tackle right now. They're kind of struggling with that. But he didn't feel like it was the good situation for him. So, I mean, and then the third one is that he's looking for somebody to really develop him. Now, I know that he likes Beatonbow. I know that he was recruited by us in last time in some capacity, so we know him. I'm curious to kind of see where this goes, and we'll find out what probably sometime tomorrow, since the dead period starts tomorrow. Either he's going to commit or he's going to be looking to take other visits. I'm just hoping that he goes ahead and commit and enrolls next week when school starts. Brian, talk to us. You're one of our insiders. What you hearing?
Sounds like visits have gone well, which, that's kind of, it's a good thing, but look, this is one of those situations. I don't want to get everybody's hopes up, so I want to be just real with you. Visits going well doesn't mean anything in the transfer portal era. I mean, he may really like what he hears, and somebody else comes calling, and they drop something on him that he can't pass up, and that's where he ends up. But sounds like Oklahoma's doing what they need to be doing to try and land this guy with Hurd. Look, this is a situation where the Sooners understand what their needs are, and I think that this is one where you proverbially swing for the fences. And if Oklahoma really likes what Hurd brings into the room, I think they'll do that. Now, I will say this: he's a young guy, and that's you're not getting a lot of experience in this, and so, but you also, I think what puts Oklahoma in a situation to swing for the fences is that you just lost Caden Green. Now, it's not a 1-for-1. I think Caden Green. I mean, I really like what we've seen from Lance, but Caden Green was set to be one of the nastiest guards in the SEC next year, and he still will be, just not for the Sooners. So, I do think that there's definitely some juice there for Oklahoma. It does help that this is a guy that likes Bill Beatonbow. If you go in, that you either like that guy or you don't. That's just how guys like Bill Beatonbow are taken. And I think that he is somebody that fits that room well. So I think it's down to it sounds like it's down to Oklahoma, Tennessee, but you never know. Like I said, Oregon could come knocking and just throw everything off. And that's not, there's no basis to that, but you get the sentiment, what I'm saying. That's just how things work. But right now it looks like Oklahoma's at least in a decent spot.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm hearing too. Terrence Ferguson, the former Alabama lineman, we'll add him in there too. He's supposedly here hanging out. He had some good snaps there at Bama. I think he only has like 2 years left of eligibility, where Hurd has 3 or 4. But I think the big thing with Hurd is to remember, and it's the thing to consider when it comes to some of these transfer portal guys, is that if you're bringing in some of the older graduate transfers, they're great for 1-year rentals. It doesn't really mess up continuity in the room.
Right.
If you bring young dudes in, you might piss off one of your prize recruits.
Yeah.
That's the ones you got to think about. And as Brian mentioned, and Jaron Canick, somebody actually mentioned this on Twitter, on the Twitter video, that Canick mentioned it in one of their podcasts on the prairies, that if you want to get paid, go to the portal. But the issue with that is that all the players know that. So if you come in, they know that you probably got paid to get here, and now they're going to be asking the questions of where my money at, and then you start losing your own. So that's probably one big reason why you'd recognize with the way that Venables and them is doing the team building. They're focusing on guys that they want to bring here that actually wants to play ball and really focus on development. Money's going to be there. We'll figure out how to make some great stuff work, but we're not here to outpay Oregon or the likes of Texas A&M. But we'll be competitive in the price. That's what you got to recognize. And so with some of these people, and Neo, I disagree on the poison of NIL, is because some of these players also recognize they ain't making it to the NFL. So they're making any money at this level now. That way they can try to figure out what's next in their career. Because the ones that are going to make the NFL, they're starting on offensive lines around the country today, or defensive line, or whatever positions today, and they're not leaving their school. The guys that are in the portal are ones that probably aren't going to play anyway at some places. Now, one thing I'm going to add, and Coop, I'm going to pass to you, is when it comes to the portal and players like a Terrence Ferguson and a Lance Hurd, yes, I am basically telling you that the transfer portal is retail prices besides wholesale prices. Wholesale, you go to Sam's, you go to Costco or whatever, and the prices, if you get it in bulk, or a lot of times you can get it much cheaper in wholesale because you're getting it is either in bulk or you're getting a special price because they've got a bunch of them and they're giving it to you. That's your high school. Your high school players are more your wholesale pricing. Retail pricing is after it's been sold off, somebody else has tried it, and they're like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can make more money. And that's when you get those retail prices from these. Now, every once in a while, you find a clearance player. For example, Tyler Guyton is probably one of the best clearance players we've ever found because he's one of the greatest projects I think I've ever seen at Oklahoma. I can't think of anybody better. Dude was a defensive tackle, played H-back at TCU, and when I saw him as a freak, I'm like, I wonder what Beatonbow can do with him. Brought this dude here, and dude's a consensus first-round draft pick, guaranteed. Everybody said he's going in the first round. Think about it that way. Don't think about it the other ways you've heard. Think about it that way. We're finding some players on the retail side, trying to get that nice little deal we can get, maybe a clearance player here or one on sale, someone that we can peek up and say, probably one of the best picks you've seen in a while. Guytons don't come, they don't grow on trees. They're very hard to find, especially guys that want to work hard to do it. But luckily, we're going after guys that already have the size. We can teach them the technique. Coop, what are you hearing or thoughts on Hurd and Ferguson coming in? What do you feel like they could even fit if we were able to close the deal?
So with Hurd, I'll start with him. Pardon the Terrence Ferguson mental block that we got. If you're a Thunder fan, we had a Terrence Ferguson on, and it wasn't very good. So, but this Terrence Ferguson, another body. But Lance Hurd, he's still in town, and so he didn't blow in and blow out. Last thing I heard is he is sticking around for the night, and there should be some decent indications. Now, transfer portal, insider information, guys looking to be the one that was right. I don't give a damn. Let's just get some bodies and let's get some dudes who want to go pancake some folks. That's what we want. And again, when I'm going back to, I stand very, very strongly on what I said when the Peyton Bowen situation happened, the first okey doke where he pulls out Oregon. And I say, if that's what that person is about, we don't want them in the locker room. If it's 100% money first, we don't want them in the locker room. That doesn't mesh with we need high character guys who are leaders in their high school, leaders at the previous team that they were on. Those are the guys that Brent Venables is going after. When you're building the culture that we're trying to build, that is who that is, because you can. And you've seen it with, and I'll point out LSU. LSU just rises from the ashes every 8 to 10 years, and then turns into a cluster for the rest of the time. And I don't want this program to look like that. I don't want this program to be, picking between Ed Orgeron and Brian Kelly. Those are things that I don't want. And so I think that part of Hurd coming in and the coaching staff is interviewing him just as much as he's interviewing them. And that is because, do you fit in what we're trying to do here? We will help you get your money. But, if I'm beating ball, I'm just going, a lot of my offensive linemen are not doing anything today, but it's not because they didn't get drafted. It's because they're resting for the playoffs. So let's just hang out. And but you've got an absolute, opportunity to bring in a young guy who could potentially turn into something. And I agree with what you said about Guyton, Jay, is he didn't play first year. And it was all like, hey, this guy could turn into absolutely something. Well, I promise you, for every one of those guys that could turn into absolute something, there's somebody who doesn't turn into anything. And so that's what I'm hearing on Hurd. I haven't heard anything about Ferguson, super positive or the opposite. So, but we're trying to get those numbers. And as you see guys like Aaron Parks head out to the transfer portal, it's because they're making room for guys for another shot. If you get another Aaron Parks as a depth piece, that's fine. But we do need difference makers, and we do need people who are going to really, really, really press right now.
Yeah, and that's one thing to think about when it comes to how attrition works especially when it comes to the transfer portal. A lot of these cases, man, I feel bad for players because a lot of the fans think that they don't want to compete. They call them names, talk bad about them or whatnot. And it's like, no, it's not that they didn't want to compete. It's probably coach told them, you probably ain't gonna play here, right? We got some dudes coming in. And I got one that I'm a lot higher on, so maybe a good idea for you to go, explore the options. Unless you're cool with being a backup, explore the options because you may fall another spot in the portal in the depth chart. Because I got another guy coming in, so. Enough on that. We'll see what happened with Hurd and Ferguson. We'll probably hear something, like I said, in the next 24 hours. If you don't hear anything next 24 hours, then obviously that means that he's going to continue to shop around. We'll just cross our fingers and toes that we're able to land. If we can land both, of course, I'm going to lose my mind. But if we can at least land one of them, I'd be satisfied. So, all right.